Hello everyone, today I'm reviewing the Forney Easy Weld 140MP. This is everything that it comes with that you see besides the Blue Demon wire right there. I got that to test the flux core on this. This is a regular 115 amp plug, and if I pull it off you got I guess this is a 20 amp plug. I mean, I only see these at my school, so that's the only place I've ever seen a plug like that. It has this stick electrode. It's a really nice stick electrode, but not the best. I mean, it has great spring. It doesn't open wide enough, and it's comfortable. My favorite ones, which I consider the best, right in, let's move it up, right in there. It's a little triangle, and so it like pinches the electrode at one point. I don't know why I like those, I just really do. Ground clamp. This ground clamp is something that I must say is very bad about this welder. I mean, it is only a $400 welder, so it's not like you can expect like super good quality from all the accessories, I guess. I already consider it to be a good price for it being a multi-process welder, but I'll probably be replacing this soon with one of the Harbor Freighter ones that have the spring back here, and it kind of clamps out like that. You know, and it's glass color. Hopefully you guys know what I'm talking about. The Mig handle, or flux core handle, whatever you want to call it. It's a Mig gun, I guess, since it has a Mig gun, since it has a Mig nozzle on it. Regular Mig nozzle. There's the gas ports. If you take off the contact tip right here, just a regular copper contact tip. But here is something I like. Again, this is amazing me for the price. Let's see if I can get this without chinsing it up. So let's move it to the second. So there we go. Didn't scratch it up that time. If we take this off right here, I'm pretty sure this is called a diffuser. It kind of makes the gas flow out evenly. I haven't been in welding for a while and kind of forgotten some of the terms, but here we have the liner, and I'm pretty sure this is replaceable. I'm not 100%, but I mean, there's the spring liner, and I'm guessing if it has the spring liner that we can visibly see, either they tried to make it good and they went a little cheap and it make it replaceable, or it is replaceable. I'm not going to pull off the other side of the gun because I'll have this wire stringing everywhere, and I just don't feel like messing with that right now. I will put in the description when I do find out if it is replaceable exactly, and probably a link to the replaceable liner. I'll also have a link to the welder, the Blue Demon wire, and just a couple other things you might want if you have this machine. But well, there's that. And then I'm pretty sure, I haven't tested this, but this might come off, but you might have to undo the screws. I like this little clip right here. You know, you can, if you had something, you could clip it on there. And then that's just some of the first features you'll see when you open this. Let's move over to the welder. So this is the welder face. It's a 10 selection dial. This feature is pretty cool. You have the lead for the, or I guess the DIN connector for the wire spool. And I like this because I watched a video where somebody was using Hobart, and right in here, I don't know if you can see it, but back in the wire compartment, they had to change the plugs around to go from DCEN to DCEP. Right here I can go direct or direct current electrode negative, direct current electrode positive for the gun is simple as turning out a DINS connector and placing it in the other one and turning it. So I really like that, other than it will flop around if I'm using stick, but I mean, it's not a huge deal. It's way more convenient than using the whole Bart. And then if we go back up, right here you have the gun selection, stick selection, and TIG selection. I'm not sure what's really going to be different between the TIG and the stick selection, but I will have to get a TIG torch for this and show you guys how that works. That is something that's not included in this, sorry. Let's move on to the Mig housing, or the wire housing, and I'll show you in there. Okay, so I have the 10-pound spool of blue Demon wire, and how you get that off is if you just, that's tight, sorry, you just remove this little plastic piece right here and it will slide off. And then let's say, hold on, let me get this on. If I could remember that it's a left-handed thread, I could probably get it on. Oh, wire, stop it. Stop it. There we go. Yeah, pretty good. Okay, and then, so if you remove this, you can put 1 or 2 pound spools on it. This whole assembly just will fall off, and then this, basically this plastic piece acts like your 2 pound spool connector, or a conversion, and this thing will put it to the 2 pound spools. Right here, you have your selection for how tight or how loose you would want it to pinch your wire. And it's spring loaded coming up. And we have right here a little knob to take off. There we are, off this wheel. And on this wheel, it has the hatches for flux core and the regular straight for MIG. And that's something that was on a lot of the higher end machines that I used in my welding class as well. And on a lower end machine that I've used of my brother's, I'm pretty sure it is either plastic wheels or metal wheels with just a little line in it. I cannot say exactly. It's a Century flux core welder. Maybe somebody will comment and tell me better. So I'll be looking for that. Let's tighten this back down to where I like it. Yeah. It did come with an extra contact tip taped onto the spool thing. It has a conversion chart, or not really a conversion chart, I shouldn't call it that, but a chart that lets you know what to run the machine at. So if we're using the no gas flux cord and we're using 0.03 wire, I'm guess that the left knob needs to be to 1 and the right knob should be at a 1. Maybe a 3 and a 3, I'll try that. I thought I got it tuned right when I was running my other machine. It takes a lot. I need to write in where it should be, because now that I've played with the stick, I've completely forgotten where it should be. But I'm going to try this setting first when I'm showing you guys how it runs, maybe even the 5 and 5. But it looks like you literally match the volts with the wire feed speed and it should do good. So we'll see what happens. I'm hoping the 3 and 3 will give me hardly any splatter, because when I got a good weld and it good tuned, it gave me tons of splatter. But it's a very nice little small machine. Let's get to welding and see how it does. One thing I forgot to mention with this welder was its duty cycle. I went and looked on their website and it's 30% for all processes. There's 30% at 80 amps for TIG and stick. And then it said 140 amps for the wire feed speed. I'm not sure how correct that is, because I'm pretty sure you run it off volts. It should switch to volts as shown here when you are on the MIG setting but, and then also the 1 to 10, it went from, I want to say 40 to 110 amps. I think that's what it was, and I about decided that every number in between here was 7. Actually, it might be, yeah, 40 to 110 amps, because that'd be about 70, and 70 divided by 10 is 7. So yep, the 1 is 40 amps, 10 is 110 amps. So it can't quite run a 1/8 inch 7018 electrode, because that should be ran at about 125, and I will be running one because I did not know that when I bought the electrodes. I bought them for something else, and it will run it. It will just run it at a lower amperage, and you can hear it because it's not such a violent mess. I guess it's not really a mess, but it's not so violent. And then I never found anything about the wire feed speed, as mentioned before. Other than that, I think I'm ready to get welding. So I'm going to start with the flux core process, and I've about decided that this is 1/4 inch still, and so I'm going to run it at a 10 and a 10, but I will probably be moving down to a 7 and a 7 or a 5 and a 5, depending on how I like it. Let's get going. Okay, so I got my cleaned up piece of steel here. I know it's on a piece of wood. You're gonna have to bear with me. I have a plastic table. I wasn't gonna melt the plastic, put it on a piece of wood, and I'm pretty sure it won't start on fire, but you never know. So I'm gonna always be watching for that. Let's get MIG welding. Again, we're starting at 10 and 10 on the thing, which I'm pretty sure in amps turn, or amp terms, not volts, what it should be in. But all I know is amps is 110. Okay, so that was at 10 and 10 right here. As you can see, my travel speed was perfect, and I started to get antsy and sped up. I also am a teeny bit crooked, a little bit out of practice. Yeah, I don't know if even 10 and 10 was cutting that. I had to move pretty slow for that puddle. Okay, now I'm going to start off with some 7018 1/8 inch. Again, I'm running this at the 10 dial or 110 amps, if their chart is correct, which I imagine it is. I comfortably run it at 125, so it's going to be definitely a low amperage run, but it will run it. It's not going to be structurally sound, but just showing you how it's welds. I have my little homemade chipping hammer because I decided to get a welder and I ran out of money for all the supplies. Okay, so that was not the best weld I've ever done. I'm gonna finish off this rod and do it again and then show you guys, because I'm a little embarrassed. Okay, so I'm not proud of that, but it was better than my last one. But as you can see, it ran it decent. Again, this is only 110 volts and it needs about, 110 amps, and it needs about 15 more to run it correctly. Okay, now I'm going to be running some 6011 3/32 rod. I have this at 6. That is the, so I have it at 6. That is the recommendations by Forney. So I'm going to run this and see how it does. I'm not very proud of these welds either. That rod is burning super quick with how thin it is, but I got a little railroad tracking going on in it. But there you go with some 6011. Thank you guys for watching the video. Make sure to check out some other videos. Again, there will be some links in the description to where this welder, the Blue Devil wire, contact tips, and some other things that I feel like you might want if you have this welder. And if you don't have one, I suggest go buying it if you're a hobbyist. Definitely amazing hobbyist welder, super good for hobbyist. With the welds I was doing, they're definitely not going to be 3 minutes weld, and I'm guessing I was welding at about 6 inches, half a foot. And for most hobbyists, that's all you'll be welding. So I think that'll do good with its duty cycle for that. Never hit it during this video or when I was trying it out. But there's your first look, and pretty much my first look at the Forney Easy Weld 140MP. Thank you guys for watching. Check out the 2 videos I have suggested for you guys. And then also go check out Derek's Workshop and Projects. He is my brother. He posts some pretty interesting stuff. He has the Century welder over there. Thank you guys for watching. See ya.